The eyes of the men's college soccer world trained on the nation's capital, the first of 16 games in the NCAA second round, about to kick off at Shaw Field in Washington, D.C. Dan Helfrich alongside longtime broadcast partner Tom Greaser. And Tom, the Wolfpack coming in after an impressive win midweek against Charlotte.
Yeah, first-year coach Mark Hubbard is pulling all the right strings for the Wolfpack. It's Coach Hubbard's 8th straight NCAA tournament, but it's been a long time for NC State back in this environment.
Meanwhile, Georgetown fresh off a win last weekend in the Big East Championship game over Providence. A good crowd has settled in today here, Tom, and the crowd's going to be treated to an exciting attacking trio on NC State, including Hakeem Karamoko.
Karamoko, all ACC second-team forward, great size, great strength, great speed, and Coach Weiss said for the first time this year, his back line might not have the pace that NC State has up top.
Georgetown, a more balanced attacking group. They get a lot of goals from a lot of different places, including in the midfield. They went a long way to find Matthew Van Horn all the way to Alaska, and Van Horn's been an exceptional player in his sophomore campaign.
Yeah, the sophomore leads Georgetown with 6 goals and 3 assists, and as the season has gone on, Van Horn has found his role coming off the bench, so we won't see him in the starting lineup, but he makes an impact the second he steps onto the field.
It's two teams that like their form coming into this match today. It's NC State, it's Georgetown, and we are moments away from kickoff here on ESPN+. Live at Shaw Field, NCAA action on Tom Greaser. A perfect fall weather day. High 50s, partly cloudy, only a breath of wind. And Tom, the Hoyas in the white, blue, white kits today. They'll be heading left to right on your screen. The Wolfpack in the all black with the Red Sox. Two teams that play an entertaining transition brand of football, and it should be a good one.
What a way to start Thanksgiving week, and these two programs thankful that they get to compete in this second round matchup. Dan, early on, what I'll be looking for tactically is the midfield. NC State has this diamond in the midfield, Georgetown more of a box. Kind of allows both teams to get spaces and do what they'd like to do in the midfield. Who can win that battle early on will really set the table.
Tom, the first ever coaching matchup between Coach Hubbard, the first-year coach at NC State, and Brian Weiss, the 19th-year man at the helm of the Hoyas.
Yeah, but a lot of respect between both head coaches. They know each other well, have a lot of mutual respect. We talked about Coach Hubbard, that run at New Hampshire, 7 straight NCAA tournaments, but this is the 8th straight tournament for Coach Weiss and the Georgetown Hoyas as well.
Hubbard built a perennial star program at New Hampshire. Helfrich the long throw, the imposing Markovic heads away. Markovic, the freshman, Tom, from the FC Montreal system, scored the winner in overtime against Charlotte.
Yeah, what a moment for the freshman. His first career goal pushes the Wolfpack to the second round matchup.
And Tabora commits a foul there on Santos.
This is something that Coach Weiss will want to avoid. Restarts, you talked about the size of Markovic, the number 6 center back, listed at 6'4", and he looks every part of it. He's not necessarily the main target, though. Georgetown will have to be disciplined on second balls, flicks to the back post.
Coach Hubbard brought 3 players with him from New Hampshire. This man, number 3, Liam Bennett, one of them. All 3 in the starting lineup today, along with Hefes and Healy. Big moment here early in the second minute. Bennett and Mansky off his line confidently. And Tom, Tenzing Mansky's had an excellent junior season.
He's only conceded 10 goals all year, played in 16 matches for Georgetown, one of the best shot stoppers in all of college soccer.
Georgetown tied for the national lead in shutouts as Helfrich controls. Now Latif And a welcome sign for Hoya fans that Latif is back in action, missing a bunch of this year with a variety of injuries, but played a really key role in the Big East championship run. Latif to Baker. Baker will turn, find Vieira. Now Zange's first touch of the match. Was looking for Godinho, but well read, and NC State transitions through Healy. Jennings wins it over Phillip and finds Tabora. Like it was off of Markovic, and it will be a throw for Georgetown deep in the NC State end.
Dan, early on, Diego Latif, if he has time to pick his head up, he can break lines or layers for Coach Mark Hubbard. He found the freshman striker, Mitch Baker, but that's an important part. Back to the goal for Baker. If Georgetown can play off of him, that will be helpful.
Helfrich and Tabora combine. Now Latif. Lampman, the Big East Freshman of the Year out of the Houston Dynamo system. Here's Eric Howard. Howard awarded the tournament's most valuable defensive player and scored the game winner. Godinho, good ball to Vieira. Hoyas with numbers in the box, and Erb off his line for the first catch.
Yeah, Logan Erb, the junior goalkeeper, also in the Houston Dynamo system. Grew up in Houston, Texas. And he made an excellent save in the first half when that game was 0-0 against Charlotte.
Hoyas press Erb. He does well to get out of it. Here's our first look at the highly regarded Plamana. Plamana, the South African holding midfielder. They really look to find Plamana in space, but the guy that pulls the strings is the man number 12, Take Healy.
Yeah, Healy yet to get his first touch on the ball, but when this Wolfpack offense is clicking, it's because number 12 is pulling the strings.
Karamoko, who we highlighted at the outset, battles Latif, good strength. Now it's wide to Healy. Clips the ball, and Lampman heads away. Karamoko wins it, but no trouble for Mansky.
But you saw that strength from Karamoko. Diego Latif, one of the toughest players on this Georgetown side, and Karamoko won that first battle. Allowed the service from Healy, and as Lampman and his center back partner Jennings have done, they typically win those first aerial duels.
Latif has it, now Baker. He'll play wide to Helfrich. Tabora. Tabora clipping a ball, looking for Baker. He'll find it, Baker's header! Off the post! Rebound is cleared by Markovic. Now Tabora with it.
And what an educated ball from Marlon Tabora, searching for Baker at the far post. And Erb was beaten cleanly.
Now Latif early ball. And the Hoyas winning a throw, and Georgetown applying significant pressure in the first big moment of the game. The post denies Baker.
And Mitch Baker, talked about the size of NC State's forward, but Baker 6'4" himself and really good in the air.
Helfrich finds Baker. And out of bounds, and now Baker posting up in the corner flag, can't keep it in play. Markovic will slow things down here. It's Liam Bennett to take the throw in.
And Dan, you mentioned Bennett, one of the 3 transfers that Coach Hubbard brought with him. They understand his system. Instantly experienced players on this side that has 14 transfers this year.
Lovelace. Now Plamana. Heffis, the third of the New Hampshire starters.
And it's that man Heffis, his long throw, super dangerous for NC State, resulted in that game-winning goal. And there you see Howard not wanting to give up a throw deep in the end, and another foul in a dangerous spot.
And Godinho will be disappointed. The Hoyas conceding their second restart in a dangerous area.
And it's just a late, clumsy foul from the freshman on NC State's leading scorer. And Karamoko still down, holding that left ankle.
And looks like Karamoko will be able to continue.
Yeah, the sophomore from New York City, imposing size. And in the first 10 minutes, Georgetown concedes 2 restarts in dangerous spots.
This one will be hit by Bennett. Bennett hit the in-swinger. Lots of traffic. Markovic, an attractive target here for the Wolfpack. More of a looping ball. And Phillip will be whistled for a foul in the middle of the box.
Yeah, and that's frustrating for NC State. Kind of no reason to commit that foul on that restart. You got good size. It's a great angle for the left-footed Bennett to serve it in.
Latif picks up a second ball. Now Zange wide to Helfrich, takes it down well. Tabora. Georgetown really probing this right side, Tom.
Yeah, and it's when Helfrich is in that right back as Zange has time.
Zange clips it, headed away by Markovic. Godinho will find the second ball. Phillip heads away, but only as far as Latif. And then cleared there by Lovelace.
And Dan, just to finish that thought, when Helfrich is in that right back position, he really tries to press forward, but if you're NC State, too much time when Tabora has the ball, or Zange. Both Tabora and Zange in dangerous spots with time to pick their heads up. That last one, Zange searched for the back post. The one previously, it was Tabora finding that man, Mitch Baker, at the far post. And if I'm NC State, I've got to close down the dangerous attacking players from Georgetown.
Baker, the Australian freshman, bit of a roller coaster freshman year. Booming start, a couple minor injuries midway through the year. He seems to be finding his form again, Tom. The level of activity's risen. He had quite a good final.
Yeah, and it's 2 parts to that. It's one, he's got to find good pockets to receive the ball, but it's also Georgetown's backs and deep-lying midfielders have to break lines because he's really good holding the ball with his back to the goal, and he invites players to join the attack.
Baker challenging Hefes here. And the redshirt sophomore does well.
And Markovic, he looks like a middle linebacker. 6'4". He's worked his way into the starting lineup here, the freshman from Canada.
Phillip wins the header against Jennings, but only into the path of Eric Howard. Howard, Tom, such an important part of this Georgetown side, has played nearly every minute of every match this year.
Yeah, and with Helfrich in, Howard typically holds more, but when Helfrich does come out of the game, it's the time for Eric Howard to go forward, and he scored the game winner in the Big East final. The sophomores had quite a campaign. 1 goal and 3 assists from the left back position.
Good look at Logan Erb. Erb, who transferred from San Diego State, one of 14 transfers on this North Carolina State team. And talking to Coach Hubbard, he believes finding mid-major players to transfer is a really important part of roster building.
Yeah, and he also has the ability to bring international players in, and he's done both in his first year at NC State.
Good ball from Helfrich to Baker. Now the loose ball. Matty picks up into the path of Tabora. Georgetown another throw in deep in. Now Latif. He'll clip a dangerous ball in.
But Dan, that's the 3rd time there. Liam Bennett doesn't pressure the ball at all. Georgetown able to pick their head up in really dangerous wide spots. And that's the third ball hit in. This one, Diego Latif, look at Bennett, just gives him 3 yards of space. And that is a dangerous ball to the back post. NC State needs to clean that up. There needs to be more ball pressure.
And the communication maybe not on. Choyap had time perhaps, but decides to head it out and gives Georgetown their first corner of the match. It's Zange hitting a looping ball to the back post. No challenge on Herb, and Herb will slow things down. And Tom, we expected an entertaining end-to-end game, and that's what the first 13 minutes have offered.
It is, and for NC State defensively, they got to figure some things out, but also their main man, Healy, just not seeing any of the ball in the first almost 13 minutes of this match.
And how much of that is Diego Latif's presence?
I think it's twofold. I think it's Latif, but it's also that box in that defensive midfield that Georgetown has.
Phillip gets behind Howard. There you see the pace you referenced. Dangerous moment here, and Latif there to clear. But Phillip showing the pace advantage over Howard there.
And Phillip scored the first goal against Charlotte with a thundering run into the box and a great left-footed finish.
Santos finds Healy. Really educated left foot. Now Bennett. He and Santos slow things down on NC State's attacking left side. Healy forced backwards. Good ball into a pocket. Clamana.
This is the best soccer we've seen from the Wolfpack today. Starting to find some pockets in that midfield to play in and out of.
Good possession from the Wolfpack, and I think the Georgetown staff will be pleased with the disciplined defending there. Tabora.
Yeah, 10 or 15 passes from NC State, but nothing that is threatening at all.
2 freshmen battle there.
Really good work from Baker.
NC State leaving Baker isolated on the throw-in. This is about the 8th or 9th throw-in for Georgetown in this right side. Matty Helfrich does have a longish throw. Finds Baker's chest, lays off back to Helfrich. He'll clip a ball into the back post, looking for Vieira. It's headed away again by Choyap.
Yeah, Choyap twice now at that back post.
Godinho caught in between decisions there. But a bright start for Georgetown on this right side.
Yeah, lots of success. That's the 4th ball served in from 4 different players. And NC State looks disorganized on the left side of the defense early on in this match. And Herb understanding, taking on some pressure, will slow it down, get his team forward. And look, that shot from the freshman Godinho will frustrate the Georgetown coaching staff. It's one from 35 yards, never threatening the goal, and the Hoyas love to recycle attacks.
And it is most of the time NC State electing to slow things down on restarts, even on this throw-in. Helfrich does a good job winning that header and a throw-in for his team. Good look there at the sophomore. Local product from McLean. Bennett wins that head directionally well. Now Godinho, first time was looking for Zange, couldn't find him. Karamoko whistled for a foul, but you can see, and Tom, for those who haven't seen Georgetown play much this year, it's a rarity when Lampman or Jennings loses a header, but in this game you can see Karamoko and Phillip both offering significant challenges for the 2 Georgetown center backs.
Yeah, and his left foot just got up high on the freshman Lampman, but the physical strength of the two strikers from NC State is something that you're right that Lampman and Jennings just haven't faced. Jeskalainen, a different animal for Akron, clearly, but kind of the aerial duels will be something to watch. Max Jennings, what a senior year, what a career he's had.
Tabor, a bad turnover to Karamoko. Jennings waits for the help and finds it. And then a third foul by Georgetown in a dangerous spot, but that all starts with Marlon Tabora's turnover, Tom.
Yeah, bad giveaway. Allows NC State to break, and Karamoko wins another free kick, and this one is the most dangerous of the three. Potential shooting distance, and Healy hits great restarts. A little late and lazy from Lateif coming back. Nothing malicious in that foul, but Healy with a really good left foot. I think the one thing that helps Mansky here is if Healy hits it, it's coming into him.
Goes for the cross. Now the second ball headed away by Helfrich. Georgetown's been caught a few times this year on that recycle off the restart. They did better there.
And for NC State, they'll have to be disciplined. It's those second balls in the box Wolfpack are so good with.
Hefes goes backwards. Herbst sees the pressure from Baker, and so he'll clear it. Lampman wins that header cleanly. Now Max Vieira.
Tell you about that header from Lampman, though. It's also Vieira getting to the second ball, because it's great that Jennings and Lampman win those first balls, but can Georgetown then get possession?
Helfrich does a good job on the repress there. Now Vieira. Lampman, good ball to Vieira. Controls. Hoyas with some rhythm. Godinho's touch lets him down. Freshman called upon to play major moments here in the second half of the year. And here's NC State in a dangerous moment. Santos cuts inside. Shot is blocked by Jennings.
And that is well done by Max Jennings. Look, it's the second giveaway from Georgetown in the last 4 or 5 minutes that's resulted in a counterattack from NC State.
Now Phillip. Bennett. Lateif reads that entry to Healy well and then is fouled.
And how important Diego Lateif is, but what's frustrating for Coach Weiss, 3 center midfielders coming into the year. Blaine may be unable to go today. Joe Buck working back his way from an injury. We think will be able to play today. And freshman Godinho has had important minutes in the Big East tournament. Brian Weiss unable to choose among his 3 center midfielders in any contest this year.
Georgetown, another careless turnover, and NC State great in transition. Good foul there by, good tackle by Godinho. No foul.
Great tackle by Godinho. That helps him get into the rhythm of this match.
Tabora finds Helfrich. Can he get there before it goes out of bounds? He will.
That ball is on for Georgetown with the shape that NC State looks at, plays defensively. Helfrich got closed quickly by the freshman Markovich.
Godinho. He and Helfrich combine. Godinho will take the space, finds Tabora. Now Howard. Back post run. Helfrich gets to it and doesn't hit it cleanly. It was a great ball by Vieira, and Matty Helfrich will want that one again.
It was good communication. Helfrich calls off Zenge, and when you call him off, you have to expect the ball to come through. You're going to see it late. You're not going to get a good look at it. I think Helfrich, when he looks at this, he wants to go with the inside of his foot. He tries to hit it with his laces. It's an inside of the foot pass there to the far post.
Ball by Vieira. And once again, Tom, Mr. Erb, the goalkeeper for NC State, going to take his time.
These goalkeepers for both teams, both in purple and both tremendous shot stoppers.
Jennings rises above. Second ball, though, that time won by NC State.
And Dan, a few minutes before that chance from Helfrich, was able to pick up from the Georgetown coaching staff, telling him to get higher up the field as Georgetown was playing on the left side with Howard. They just sensed, the Hoyas, that they have space to exploit down that right side. And if Georgetown can switch the point of attack, they become really difficult to deal with.
Long throw into the path of Baker. He heads, but Markovich collects. Lampman did well there. Clamana heads straight up in the air. Santos tries to control. Santos does well to find Hefes. Now Howard. Crunching challenge, ball squirts to Vieira. And now it's into the path of Phillip. Phillip is in. Gets to the end line. Mansky off his line. Rebound by Lovelace. And it's a goal kick.
And against the run of play, you can just see how dangerous NC State is. 2 times it was giveaways from Georgetown there. NC State builds out the right side, and it's one ball in over the top. Really good goalkeeping, though, for Mansky. Read it well. He was quick and decisive off of his line.
Scoreless here at Shawfield. Dan Helfrich, Tom Greaser. Only the 3rd ever matchup between these two teams. NC State winning both of the prior two in the mid-90s.
Early 90s.
93 and 94.
It's amazing that these two programs, about a 4.5 hour drive, have only played, counting today, 3 times in their rich histories.
Clamana does well to find Santos. Georgetown slows them down. Karamoko hold up to Bennett. Georgetown forcing players backwards well. Lovelace with space. Great touch and just wide. A great footwork there from Drew Lovelace, and the junior from just outside of the Raleigh-Durham area, nearly opens the scoring.
And great feet, but getting that shot off, it was a toe poke running at Mansky, and that ball did not miss by much.
Bennett. Now Karamoko. Bennett again as Coach Wiesel ready his first 3 substitutions of the match at the next opportunity. Entry ball to Healy, great layoff! Lovelace, goal! It's a magical goal by NC State, Healy to Lovelace! And the Wolfpack on the road take the 1-0 lead.
And what a great finish by the junior Lovelace. It was his run a few minutes before that caused danger. And there Lovelace with his 2nd goal of the season. And what a moment for the NC State Wolfpack at Shaw Field. That was a great ball. Was that Healy with a little delicate touch to Lovelace? 2 great touches by Lovelace, and then a brilliant finish, beating Mansky to his left. Healy doesn't see much of the ball, Dan, but that one little flick on frees Lovelace. A great moment for the NC State Wolfpack. That little delicate touch and a great feat. The second time Lovelace with great feet running at the center of Georgetown's defense.
The second of the year for Lovelace.
Healy's 5th assist. Talked about him pulling the strings. Followed Coach Hubbard down south when Hubbard got the job from New Hampshire.
There's the recently entered Ollie Stafford in on the right side of defense. He replaced Helfrich, Van Horn for Tabora, and Joe Buck coming off an injury replacing Aiden Godinho.
Dan in the Big East tournament, Georgetown. Well, they were losing against Providence in the final 1-0, so this Hoya team recently has dealt with some adversity and responded well.
NC State's such a dangerous team in the attack. Jennings wins the header. Now Baker. Healy looking for Karamoko. Stafford does well. And Tom, I think this is a game, it's 1-0, but you expect chances for both teams. NC State's not built to be a team just to sit back and protect a lead. Here's Lovelace. He's getting into the attack, and for a guy with just 2 goals and 2 assists on the season now, Lovelace has been very aggressive in the attacking third.
He was pretty much invisible the first 20 minutes of the contest, and then in the last 5 or 6 minutes, it's his 3rd chance at goal. And the second one he took brilliantly.
Baker will track it down. Van Horn picks up the second ball. Great defending from Markovic.
Markovic does not back away from any tackles.
Markovic, who scored the game winner midweek in overtime at home, and what Coach Hubbard said was an outstanding atmosphere. Hubbard remarked about just how great an atmosphere it's been all year at home games, and he said it's a campus that loves soccer.
Oh, it's a soccer-rich community down in the Raleigh area.
Joe Buck's first touch. Finds Zange. He and Van Horn not on the same page, and it'll be a goal kick. And NC State will make its first 2 substitutions of the match. Karamoko will exit, as will Santos. And Noker will come in, as will Aiden Payne. Noker, the grad student who grew up nearby Georgetown's campus in Fairfax, Virginia, transferred from Binghamton in the offseason.
Yeah, just more experienced players at Coach Hubbard when he wanted to rebuild this program quickly, and we've talked about it over the years. You can become relevant in college soccer in one offseason with the right transfers, especially grad schools, and you have the mix in some good international players. Certainly that's what Coach Hubbard has built here in his first year at NC State.
Stafford, the sophomore from the NYCFC system. Looping ball finds Howard. Now Buck. Van Horn wants it, but Liam Bennett read it.
You can hear Coach Hubbard just imploring his team to keep their shape and work hard defensively, and he's getting a very quality performance out of his side today.
Noker's first touch, an athletic one. Healy will keep possession. Healy always a creative string puller, Tom, but Coach Hubbard giving him credit for the work he's done defensively, understanding the tactics of the game and how they want to press. Lampman, good interception. Vieira finds Baker. Baker hold up to Van Horn. Georgetown's leading scorer into the path of Zenge. And it'll be a corner kick for the Hoyas.
That was a good attack from Georgetown. The dangerous Zenge in the mix.
It'll be Eric Howard, the sophomore. Quiet afternoon thus far. Herb stays on his line, the header off the crossbar!
Max Jennings, the senior captain, rises and won that one from Howard's corner kick. And for the second time today, Georgetown denied by the woodwork.
Buck now, Georgetown denied by the woodwork twice in the first 32 minutes of this match. What an athletic header by the Real Salt Lake draftee.
Jennings with one goal this year, but it was his junior campaign where he was so dangerous on restarts with 5 goals last year.
Zenge looking for Vieira overhit though. But Georgetown on the front foot again, but I'm sure Coach Hubbard expected Georgetown to have a little more of the ball and knew they'd get chances in transition, and the Wolfpack capitalizing with a spectacular finish from Drew Lovelace.
Yeah, but 2 times I think Coach Hubbard will be disappointed. Free headers. Now, Georgetown coaching staff said Jennings wasn't free because he was being grabbed, but Jennings rose through that challenge. And not for the crossbar, this match would be tied.
Phillip wins it off of Howard. Now Latif, most first half minutes he's played all year. FS back to Herb. Georgetown inviting that ball into Plamana and then trying to press him.
Yeah, and Latif read that ball the entire way.
Zenge offsides.
Latif, we've talked about him a couple of times, Dan. So important how Georgetown likes to play. Coach Weiss says even in training sessions when he's on the field, it's a different feel. Just has such a great understanding of the game, and the injury to maybe, it's going to be a lot of minutes asked of Diego Latif today, but this is what he's been working to get his fitness back to.
Jennings wins the header. He was fouled by Payne in the process. Meanwhile, Brian Wiesel ready for more substitutions, it appears, at the next dead ball.
Yeah, talking to Coach Weiss before this match, he said this is the deepest team he's had since the 2019 National Championship team, and he's had to learn to just trust it. Guys understand their roles. Maybe some players aren't playing as much as they would like or hope, but they understand when their number will be called.
So substitutions for both sides. Urrutia, Peretti, Ponce, Campo, and Heaps in for the Hoyas. Junior Nare preparing to come in for NC State, as is Caleb Tommy. Those 2 Wolfpack subs not allowed to enter here in our first long throw setup. It's Hefes. Headed away, but straight to Healy. Shot is blocked and eventually cleared by Van Horn.
And Hefes, that one more loopy than what we saw in the match against Charlotte.
Choyap, secondary service, looking for Phillip, who rises above. And Urrutia, his clearance ends up with Bennett, the New Hampshire native. Lovelace, the goal scorer. Choi up, low service, cut out by Buck. Georgetown can't get out of their own end. Healy's shot is blocked. Jennings finally breaks a line with a clearance.
Yeah, some anxious moments defensively. Georgetown with 7 new players on the field. And this group has played a lot together, but unable to get the ball under control.
Lovelace. Now Payne leaves it for Healy. Falls to Lovelace.
Oh, and the NC State coaching staff up in arms on that challenge with Buck and Healy, and a really good bit of sportsmanship between Buck and Healy after that play. But Dan, NC State has kind of found a good rhythm as this half has gone on. Look at this layoff to Healy and a sliding challenge. Howard and Buck there, and no contact on Healy, but enough to cause him to whiff on that shot.
Markovich outjumps Heaps.
And Tommy with a forearm in the back of Cole Peretti that the referee either didn't see or didn't think was much of a foul.
Corner won by NC State. One of the stories of this first half, how many dangerous restarts NC State has won. When you have players like Markovich as targets, the Georgetown staff still frustrated with the lack of a call. And meanwhile, nearly a second goal as it fell there to Aiden Payne, and he hit it just wide through traffic.
Yeah, that ball hit low, skips through, and a great opportunity for NC State to find their second.
Buck moving forward. Has Heaps to his left. He'll find him. Heaps gets to the end line. Good ball. Headed away by Markovich. And then cleared.
Heaps did well there to turn his hips and get that ball into the box. And Georgetown will be frustrated with this call.
So the number 4 overall seed Georgetown unhappy with this call, and generally a frustrating first half. But you could tell, talking to the NC State coaches, this was a game they felt very comfortable. Talked about the gauntlet of the schedule they played this year, Tom, and certainly a lot of respect for Georgetown, but no fear.
No fear. It's in the ACC, 9 schools made the NCAA tournament. Coach Hubbard said, we've kind of seen it all this year. Won't be phased. Gave up a late goal against Charlotte and then responded in overtime.
Urrutia can't connect with Heaps. Heaps wins the second one, however. Now Howard, a rare touch in the attack. It's a good ball to Heaps. Back to Howard. Can't get it off his foot. It was a good combination between the two sophomores. And then a sliding challenge from Howard.
Yeah, that ball just got stuck on Howard's non-preferred right foot.
Howard in the path of Van Horn. Now Heaps with it again. He'll go wide to Peretti. Has runners. Mateo Ponce-Ocampo picks up the second ball. He'll peel away to the end line. He'll hit a service in. Erb away. Howard heads. The bicycle attempt.
And it was Heaps in traffic. good energy now in the attack from Georgetown.
Van Horn, such an influential player in this match. And some industrious play from the sophomore Ponce Ocampo as well.
And after NC State had a good spell midway through this half, Georgetown finding their sea legs again in the attack. And as he has all year, he brings energy when he enters the match.
Peretti wins. It's a poor clearance header by Markovic, and then Tommy that time.
Yeah, and Tommy got away with one before, and this one, just not a smart foul. Dangerous restart. NC State had numbers behind the ball, and the substitute Tommy with that left forearm shiver to the back of Peretti as you take a look at this. Just no attempt to play the ball. Probably fortunate doesn't end up in the referee's book. Just gets a stern talking to instead. Dan, coming into this match, we talked about the importance for Georgetown to defend restarts. It's been the Hoyas in the attacking third. Baker and Jennings who have won duels. Baker hits the post, Jennings hits the crossbar.
Howard offers a left-footed option here. Ponce Ocampo the right. It'll be Ponce Ocampo.
And that is incredibly frustrating for the Hoyas. We talked about Jennings and Lampman, their size and the target and the success Georgetown's had with balls into the box. And that is as easy as it comes for Herb to deal with.
Jennings wins the header. Jennings one of two Hoyas to hit the post in this half. Now Stafford. Tommy does well coming over to defend there. The referee telling Bennett to quicken the timing here, and it's an experienced NC State side, including that man, Liam Bennett.
Yeah, Bennett in his 5th year. He's played in multiple NCAA tournament games at New Hampshire.
The dying moments of half number one. NC State, an impressive showing. Goal kick there as Stafford and Payne battled. Winner of this match will take on the winner of Marshall Furman to happen later today. Again, the first of 16 matches here on ESPN Plus today. In the second round, Joe Buck, a great bit of skill, finds Van Horn. But the return ball in an uncomfortable spot for the senior.
Yeah, it was too tight when Buck got out of that with that Maradona spin. If the Hoyas can switch the point of attack, there's acres of space on the right side.
Stafford, teammates with Mateo Ponce Ocampo in club ball for NYCFC. And then Jennings, his hand in the back there.
The hands on the back, and for Jennings, really no need to do that. Have the great size advantage on Junior Nair. But late in the half, NC State wins another free kick and allows Healy to be on the ball. Allows Markovic to come forward, and Georgetown's been good, not just on the first balls, but getting to the second balls on these restarts.
Healy, dangerous ball, flicked on, and a huge save by Mansky.
And that was the freshman Markovic with a diving header attempt. And Mansky, we talked about his shot-stopping ability. What a reaction save. The freshman Markovic, who scored the game winner in round 1 against Charlotte, denied by the right hand of Mansky.
Service there by Healy. This time a looping back post ball and a Rutio clear. We go under 20 seconds remaining. Herb, pressured by Ponce Ocampo, does well with it. Now Peretti. And that'll do it in Tom Greaser. NC State with only 48-ish hours of rest coming into Shaw Field, executing the game plan. A bit of magic between Healy and Lovelace, and they have a 1-0 lead against the Hoyas.
Yeah, thanks to that man Herb, thanks to the left post and the crossbar, but a really entertaining first half. Both sides with good opportunities, and I suspect more goals in the second half.
A great crowd here in the nation's capital. They'll be treated, no doubt, to excitement in the second half. We'll be back in a few.
Tickets are on sale now. Visit ncaa.com/Men's College Cup to purchase your tickets today.
Back at halftime at Shaw Field, an anxious Georgetown audience today as the NC State Wolfpack have the 1-0 lead, and Tom Greaser, it was an entertaining end-to-end first half.
It was. Both teams generating a lot of chances. Georgetown early on had the better of the play, but the NC State attack as the half went on got into a really good rhythm.
And they did. Georgetown blocking a bunch of shots, defending well, but NC State asked so many questions.
They did. They asked questions, and the two strikers up top, Phillip and Karamoko, caused danger, and that was the first good save for Mansky. Keep that game scoreless.
Meanwhile, the Hoyas were probing their right side of attack. Baker nearly opened the scoring.
Yeah, it's great opportunities here. It's Jennings denied by the woodwork. 2 times the Hoyas denied by the woodwork.
And as the half wore on, the intensity of the battling occurred at time.
And it's something Georgetown will have to clean up. They don't want to commit fouls in dangerous spots. And there was NC State returning the favor.
The intensity rose. Coach Weiss very verbal with the referees, but it was midway through the half that NC State took control and scored the lone goal of the match in Tom. And this was actually Mansky's other great save.
Yeah, that was late in the half on another restart, but this little layoff, that one-touch pass from Healy, and then just great feet in the box from the goal scorer, Lovelace, and a great left-footed finish. Another look at this. One-touch layoff, 2 deft touches in the box, and a clinical finish to stake the Wolfpack to the 1-goal lead.
And Tom, when we look at the statistics, NC State, the possession might have been a little bit in Georgetown's advantage, but the clear advantage in chances to the Wolfpack.
Yeah, 4 shots on goal. We saw 2 great saves from Mansky, but Georgetown does not concede double-digit shots in many halves. And NC State, they really did well to get into the rhythm of this match as the half went on.
It's all set up for a great one here in the second half. We'll be back in just a few seconds for the start of action in the second half. It's NC State 1, Georgetown 0. And there's the Hoyas in the final huddle before the start of the second half. And Tom Greaser, on Sunday, Georgetown was in this same position at halftime, down 1-0. And Brian Weiss going with the same 11 that he used to start the second half against Providence. That 11 did find the equalizer early in the second half, setting the stage for the dramatic late goal from Howard. Coach Weiss and the staff would love that same moment here today.
Yeah, and it's an example of Coach Weiss just trusting his depth. Senior Ronan Dillo, his first minutes of the match. Cole Peretti starts, and he scored that first goal in the Big East final.
Thrilled to be with you here on ESPN Plus for a game that's been worthy of the occasion so far. Foul whistled early on Karamoko. Georgetown back with their original starting back four. Howard, Lampman, Jennings, Helfrich left to right. Early ball finds Helfrich. Clips the ball looking for Van Horn. He'll get it to him. Helfrich coming on the overlap. Van Horn cuts inside instead. Turns it over to Markovic.
And Dan, the response of Georgetown in that Big East final in the second half was spectacular. On the front foot in the first 15 minutes. And it'll be something the Wolfpack will probably have to absorb.
Look at Eric Howard, sophomore from the Pacific Northwest.
Brian Weiss says, when Howard joins the attack, he's just such a fun player to play with in the attacking third, makes such good decisions. Soccer IQ incredibly high.
And Tom, I drew the analogy to the Providence game a week ago. I suppose I should also be drawing an analogy to the NCAA tournament game a year ago where Georgetown was also down 1-0, that time to James Madison, never found the equalizer.
Yeah, 2 straight years Georgetown eliminated on this weekend, the year before at Tulsa.
Peretti concedes possession to Karamoko. Now Lovelace to the dangerous Healy. And his shot goes wide.
Healy's got such a quick release and doesn't need a lot of space to get that shot off. Kind of a half chance from Healy, but it was his deft touch that led to the Lovelace goal. He's such a difference maker in the attacking third for Coach Mark Hubbard.
Lateif and Van Horn not on the same page.
Yeah, and that's something to watch. Down a goal in the second half, you start to press. Diego Lateif is typically a very composed player, and I'm not saying he's pressing there, but think about that James Madison game. You start to get kind of out of character as you're pressing for that equalizer. For Coach Weiss, he's always stressed, just stay true to who we are. Doesn't really change kind of how they play. Just wants them to do it better in those pressure moments. Have someone be that match winner.
Santos, now Healy. Take Healy, wide to Santos. Healy again. Back post service, no one there. But as we expected, NC State will continue on the front foot, Tom. This isn't a team built to stay in a shell.
No, they want to exploit pockets of space. We've seen just how quickly they can strike in the counters. Georgetown in the early part of the first half had the better of the play, but NC State got into the match after 2 bad giveaways from Georgetown, and they started to find that rhythm in the attacking third.
The Hoyas concede possession. NC State are throwing deep in their own end. It's the long thrower, Hefes, all the way to midfield. Georgetown not able to get a hold of the ball yet in this half. Meanwhile, the Wolfpack will come out their left side of attack. Clamana, now Choyap. Cut inside. Calm attack from the Wolfpack here in minute 50.
Yeah, and it's an NC State team, we talked about it, playing in the ACC, playing against high-quality opponents all year, not fazed by this moment, even though the program hasn't been in this moment for a number of years. But many of the players have, and certainly their coach, in his 8th straight NCAA tournament, he has the experience
Dillo a little back heel finding Zange. Keep it in play. And Choyat finds Plamana. And then Latif commits a foul.
Plamana so important, kind of at the base of that diamond in the midfield for NC State. It allows Healy the freedom to float underneath those two strikers. And you see when NC State gets into a rhythm, they're playing through Plamana.
South African. Grew up playing in the famed Ubuntu Academy down there near Cape Town. And Tom, unlike that Providence game on Sunday, the beginning of the second half, Hoyas yet to find tempo in their opponent's end.
Hoyas haven't really had much of the possession the first 7 minutes.
Lovelace.
And look, there's different ways to defend. One of the great ways to defend if you're NC State is that stretch of possession they had to start the second half. And if the Wolfpack can connect passes, takes away the time and opportunity that Georgetown has in their attacking third.
Dillo with it. Now Rutia. Flipping a ball over the top, looking for Helfrich at the corner flag. He'll peel away. Find Van Horn. Helfrich reverse ball, looking for Dillo. Lays it off for Van Horn!
Oh, and what a nice sequence from Georgetown up that right side. First real good attack from the Hoyas, the two sophomores. Helfrich and Van Horn had a nice connection early in the year, but just in the substitution patterns, haven't had as much time as the season has gone on. But really good understanding with each other. And good layoff from the senior Dillo.
Meanwhile, Georgetown win a goal kick on the other end. Crafty little reverse ball there. And Dillo's been important in this start of the second half shift over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and Coach Weiss says the one thing about him, and Dillo's worked so hard coming back from injuries during his career, is that while he might not love the minutes he's getting, he knows his role as a good touch from Helfrich.
And I think what the staff will like there, Tom, is Peretti having the confidence to hit the 70-yard switch there.
Yeah, it's one thing that I know the Georgetown coaching staff talking about NC State said the switch of play is on. We need everybody to be committed to hit it. Ends up in a dangerous restart for Georgetown. Just real quick to finish on Dillo, he's accepted the role. He's a senior, but he knows at the start of the second half he's going to get 10, 15, 20 minutes, and he's been impactful in those moments.
And just as the beginning of the first half, Georgetown's attack down the right side. It'll be Zange and Howard. Georgetown, bunch of targets. Zango will hit it. Can't get it past the first defender. Urrutia rises. Van Horn on the rebound. Markovic clears. Helfrich finds Lampman. Crafty little ball looking for Peretti, but read well by Heffes, and he'll clear.
Bouncing balls in the box, typically dangerous.
And Diego Latif came up a little lame there, Tom, as he was chasing after that ball.
And it's not what the Georgetown fans want to see when a three seniors in the center midfield again. The coaches have yet to be able to choose among all three of them in any match this year. Great look at the crowd and holding their collective breath. Latif looks to walk it off. But today it's senior Blaine Maybe unable to go.
Foul near midfield.
Choyap just chopped down Zenge.
I think Latif just said to Coach Weiss, I've got about 5 more in me.
Yeah, and you see Joe Buck taking off the penny, and he'll check in.
Peretti with it near the corner flag. Zenge, great touch. Zenge the nutmeg. Oh, and a great tackle by Plamana.
We talked about a few minutes ago just how important Plamana is. There is Zenge showing his skill.
And then a poor ball. Now Urrutia. Peretti. Howard, low ball, easily cleared. Urrutia chest down. Zenge with it. Jennings, wide to Helfrich. Now Latif. Georgetown again with possession, again on the right side.
It's patience and it's probing, but NC State doing a better job with their defensive shape.
Peretti isolated, now Zenge. Urrutia top of the box. Now Peretti. Hoyas have numbers in the box. Peretti back to Latif. Ball ends up at the feet of Helfrich. And the double deflection, we'll say goal kick.
The senior Jennings denied by the crossbar. Georgetown can't find an equalizer. He's looking at the last 33 minutes of his incredible career on the hilltop.
Tom, it feels like a game with chances still left in it.
On both sides. We were talking off air at halftime, and we thought both teams would have a couple of quality chances in the second half.
Dillo chests in the path of Van Horn, who's fouled by Markovic.
And that is a clinical professional foul from the freshman Markovic. Another good layoff from Dillo to Van Horn. Georgetown goes quickly. Unfortunately, when the referee goes to his book, Georgetown can't go quickly, but
and Markovic will have to think about that yellow card for these last 33 minutes of regulation.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from challenges. He got stuck in very hard on probably 3 or 4 occasions in the first half.
Georgetown electing to go quickly. Trying to isolate Peretti, and they do. Peretti to the end line. Double team's a good one. Half-hearted calls for a foul. Lamman, positive touch. He'll go wide to Helfrich.
And Dan, you said it, NC State not built to sit back, but they are in a defensive shell right now, and they are inviting pressure from Georgetown. Wolfpack are going to have to kind of find spells with the ball.
Zenge against Lovelace. Trying to find Urrutia. And instead the ball will fall to Logan Erb. Van Horn, now Latif. Good combination play. Van Horn finds Peretti, Has runners. Peretti across the box, past everybody. And Santos will find the feet of Dare.
Again, that was another good switch of the point of attack from Georgetown. The way NC State likes to get numbers around the ball, if the Hoyas can continue to switch the point of attack, will bode well for them.
Lampman keeps it in play to Helfrich. Now Urrutia. Now Howard. Georgetown really on the front foot right now, Tom Greaser.
Yeah, it's what I was mentioning. NC State is just kind of sitting back and inviting this pressure from Georgetown. Make for a long last 30 minutes for Wolfpack fans if this is the shape they keep.
And Brian Weiss will make 3 substitutions here, Tom, as Lataif.
And it's 3 seniors that will exit.
Lataif, Peretti, and Dillo exit. Mitch Baker, Vieira, and Buck enter. And Tom, could this be the 30 minutes for the freshman Baker, where he finds a moment of heroism?
Yeah, it was early in the match. Baker won the header and beat Herb, only to be denied by the post.
Great touch by Howard, who was fouled by Lovelace, grabbing his hamstring. And we'll see Nare exit and the return of the starter Phillip up front. So Coach Hubbard of NC State going back to his 2-striker tandem of Karamoko and Phillip.
Yeah, and that partnership up top is asked some questions of the Georgetown backline in the first half.
FS clears it, looking for Karamoko. Battling Lampman. It's a good battle. Karamoko will win it. Has runners. Instead, he'll cut to his left foot. Back to his right foot. Lampman read it well. Stood his ground. And then Mansking will collect the second ball.
And that was just really good one-on-one defending from Lampman after Karamoko got the better of him with that size and strength, spinning away from Lampman. And he cut by him there, and I think it's that second cut that allowed Lampman to win it back. Karamoko, when he cuts back the first time on his left foot, probably just wants to hit it hard and low across the goal mouth.
Urrutia. Herb off his line. Deflection falls to Baker. The net's open and what a play by Markovich. I believe Baker's shot was going to find the empty net, Tom.
Oh, and some miscommunication, uncharacteristic from Herb, as that was a searching ball played in. Herb out of his line and it falls to Baker.
Howard all the way to the end line.
And Dan, you're right. That play from the freshman Markovich, goal-saving, maybe game-saving for the NC State Wolfpack.
The ref setting the tone, Tom, already stopping the clock here with 27 minutes remaining, telling the goalkeeper Herb that he's not going to give him much discretion on these restarts.
And in the first half, early in the match, when Georgetown had the better of the play, Logan Herb took the air out of the ball on 3 or 4 occasions.
Zenge, great touch against Choyap. And Choyap does well. Vieira on the repress, finds Van Horn, but Santos physical enough with him Karamoko wins the throw-in. Anxious Georgetown bench, trailing 1-0 on the first half goal by Drew Lovelace, his second of the year. And the referee again will stop the clock as NC State playing the cat and mouse game of time wasting. Jennings clearance. Markovic sends it back to Mansky. Howard hits the switch to Buck. He'll go wide to Helfrich. Buck again, trying to slip Helfrich in.
Well defended by Bennett. Grad student read that ball well.
But I think that's the pattern that Georgetown's going to want to repeat. The switch there that creates a 2-on-1 out wide.
And there is space to exploit on the width.
Thrown right near midfield as the pensive stare of both coaches. Mark Hubbard for NC State in his first year, Brian Weiss for Georgetown in his 19th. Zange, a good touch. He's fouled by Lovelace.
Zange looks sharp in the second half. Georgetown, Howard gives that restart away, but if you're Georgetown, you want to find pockets like this for Zange.
Healy finds Phillip, a shot! Goal! And NC State stakes themselves to a 2-0 lead. It's Healy to Phillip.
And that is off of a giveaway on a restart from Eric Howard. And just like in the second half, in the first half, Georgetown with the better of the play. And then NC State counters quickly. Healy with a brilliantly weighted ball to Phillip, and just with a missile to the back of the net. And the Wolfpack up 2-0.
Second assist of the game for Healy. The second brilliant finish for the Wolfpack.
And the second goal in the NCAA tournament for Donovan Phillip. He scored the first against Charlotte, and there is nothing Mansky could do about that strike. And what was starting to be anxious becomes really anxious moments for the Georgetown Hoyas. 24 minutes to go, down 2 goals.
And as you said, Tom, that starts off a Georgetown restart. And the opportunistic NC State Wolfpack, so dangerous in attack. And Healy, who hasn't seen much of the ball, has 2 brilliant assists.
And it's Zange wins the foul, and I was commenting that his touch looks really good and he needs to find those pockets of space. And then on that restart, Helfrich is up high because Georgetown has the ball. It's a giveaway, it's 2 passes, and Donovan Phillip makes absolutely no mistake about that finish.
Great ball from Howard to Helfrich. He has acres of space. Matty Helfrich with Van Horn. Van Horn against Bennett. Good strength from the sophomore. And Markovic, well done, splitting 2 Hoyas. And now Healy. Georgetown tied for the national lead in shutouts, conceding twice at home. confident NC State side. Wolfpack forced backwards. Herb will clip it out of bounds. Glamana, good strength to find Healy. Take Healy, relieves pressure out left. Baker and the Hoyas too easily split there. Howard looking for Zange against Hefes. Herb off his line. Great defending there by Isaac Hefes.
Yeah, Hefes in a one-on-one battle. Herb unsure of himself for the second time coming off of that line.
Tom, you wonder when and if Coach Weiss might dial up the number of Marlon Tabora, grad student, last year's Big East midfielder of the year. Productive this year, but with the experience of scoring big postseason goals. Troyap does well against Vieira, and then Vieira will foul him.
And that's a frustrating foul. Troyap back to the goal. Vieira has him in a difficult spot. Not only does it allow NC State to win the restart, but it burns 25 seconds off the clock. You see just the arms to the back from Vieira.
Howard. Baker. Now Zange with some space. Markovic stands him up. Baker does well to find Howard. Markovic on a yellow.
That's what we talked about. He does not shy away from tackles. And
Zange with it. Now Buck. Strength from Phillip. Scored the second. Now Healy. Under 20 minutes left in Georgetown's season. Unless the Hoyas can find a pair. Howard. He's fouled by Lovelace.
Georgetown wanted to go quickly, but the referee says it's 5 yards back, but I actually think that's okay because it allows Lampman and Jennings to come forward on this restart.
And Urrutia and Helfrich will exit. And so Tabora and Stafford enter. The Hoyas will want to get Eric Howard more on the ball in the attacking third.
Yeah, the game winner in the Big East final. He and Zange on this restart.
Here is Howard. A bunch of runners to go to the back post over everybody. Vieira will chase it down. Buck will loop a ball in. Headed away by Hefes. Now Vieira.
Yeah, get up there.
Van Horn. Georgetown center back still forward after the restart from more than a minute ago. Vieira, dangerous ball to the head of Jennings. He doesn't get all of it and it goes wide.
That's one of those center backs that stayed forward. Such a great target on restarts.
Smartly evades Baker's challenge. Great turn from Howard. Lampman tries to find Tabor. Instead, Phillip in a dangerous spot, has Santos to his left. He'll slip.
Good defensive work from Harlan Tabor. As you're right, Phillip on that left foot found himself in a wonderful pocket.
Ball from Vieira to Zange, who is unbalanced situation on their left side of attack. It's Howard. It's a first-time ball, and the sure-footed Heffes clears.
And Heffes has been good in the second half.
Howie cuts inside. Eric Howard reverse ball falls to Stafford. Now Howard, poor first touch. Tabora finds Zange. Zach clips the ball to the back post. Poor clearance by Bennett. Sliding, now Zange, left-footed across the face, Heffes there again.
NC State packed in their defensive 18 there.
Buck into the feet of Howard. But NC State's organization on the services, Tom, has been excellent.
It has, but some not certain clearances from NC State recently.
Replacing number 22, Drew Lovelace.
Will Noecker replaces Drew Lovelace.
And I'm not sure if the microphone on the field we were able to pick up, but I heard Brian Weiss said, keep going and just get the first one. First goal changed the dynamic of this match. There's one of the seniors, Joe Buck, getting some additional instructions from Coach Weiss, his NC State trainer.
And we'll go out for a quick break as this injury timeout continues. Back in a few. That man, Hakeem Karamoko, attended to by the trainer. He'll come off the field, but we'll see if he can return. And meanwhile, Tom, that acts as a bit of a timeout here, and for Brian Weiss and the Georgetown staff, only 16 minutes to find a pair of goals. What's the message?
Well, the message is what he was saying before. You got to get the first one. And it's stay true to what's gotten you here. And in the second half, when Helfrich comes out, it's Howard on the left. And I think Georgetown will like their chances if Howard gets isolated on the left side and can pick his head up for service.
Karamoka is still in the match. Buck wide to Vieira, senior to junior. Returns the favor. Buck still with it. Buck still with it. And it'll be into the arms of Logan Erb. Half-hearted appeals for a foul, but definitely nothing doing there.
No, and the senior Buck, a strong run into the box.
Phillip, who scored an extraordinary rocket for goal number 2 for NC State. And that really changed the whole complexion of this match. Georgetown was on the front foot. I'm sure feeling confident that chances were going to come, but now feeling more desperate, needing a pair. Here's Zenge. Ambitious, looking for Baker. Howard will chase it down. Crafty little back heel to Buck. Now back to Howard. Zenge, the back post. Baker's header is wide.
Oh, and that is such good soccer from Georgetown, and it's all through Eric Howard, but splits the NC State defenders to find Zenge, who picks his head up. And it's the target of Mitch Baker at the far post, who was first to the ball. Deft little chip from Zenge in. Markovic just undercut Baker, but from about 6 or 7 yards. Baker's got to keep that on frame.
Howard with it. Fouled hard by Karamoko.
Georgetown's fine. It allows Jennings and Lampman forward. It allows Howard to whip one into the box.
Jennings rises above, but heads it backwards, and they'll whistle a foul on Jennings. And the seconds ticking away in Georgetown's season and in the careers of several Hoyas, if they're not able to find 2. But I think, Tom, they still feel like they're going to get 1, and then hopefully,
if Georgetown's able to get 1, it all of a sudden flips the game pressure onto NC State, who right now, NC State is comfortable. 10 behind the ball, allowing Georgetown possession, but it's this type of ball pressure that NC State really hasn't had much of, and Howard can pick his head up and hit balls into the box, and Zenge can find pockets. There's a chance or 2 coming for Georgetown.
Vieira. Max Vieira into the feet of Georgetown's leading scorer, Van Horn. But NC State swarms him.
What have I done each year? I wore a muscle tee freshman year.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Now Tabora. Georgetown possessing, but NC State not conceding anything faced up. Here's Tabora. Tabora cuts inside, now Van Horn. Terrific defending by the Wolfpack.
Yeah, it's just numbers not allowing Tabora to get a shot off as he cuts.
Howard, a good ball again. Herb off his line well, read it the whole way.
Yeah, and it is a good ball. It forces Herb to make a decision. He had Baker right in front of him, but sure hands from the NC State goalkeeper.
And it's a capacity crowd at Shawtown, but it's a quiet crowd right now. And all the credit to Mark Hubbard and the Wolfpack team. And it's a quick turnaround, Tom. Thursday night, an overtime game. And they get ready to play at noon as Vieira finds Tabora. Tabora, ball headed away by Markovic, and he and Hefes have been terrific.
And Georgetown whistled for a foul, but it was the slide tackle for Markovic when this game was 1-0. That is probably the play of the game for NC State. Herb off of his line, the ball bounces to Baker at the top of the box, and Markovic really out of nowhere with an incredible slide tackle, and there's a foul whistled on Vieira. Santos making the most of it.
Vieira definitely
Little nudge in the back.
And this will serve as a timeout again, allowing both coaches to make some tactical adjustments. Bennett's attended to.
And with 10 minutes to go, this is the second time that Coach Weiss has been able to bring his side over. One at about 16 minutes to go, here at 10. His message there was, it's coming, keep playing, we'll get a chance. Baker with a little bit more than a half of a chance on ahead, would you say? The ball whipped in.
Yeah, XG 0.2 probably.
0.25. And the game pressure will flip if Georgetown's able to get one. And here, Coach Hubbard is just imploring his team to stay disciplined defensively, get numbers behind the ball. But most importantly, when NC State wins it, I'm sure Coach Hubbard is saying, connect a few passes in a row.
And so Bennett will jog off. Extended break for the what appeared to be cramping. He's asking to remain in the game, and Liam Bennett choosing to accompany head coach Mark Hubbard about 11 hours south of New Hampshire to Raleigh, North Carolina, when Hubbard took the job last December. One of 3 players who made the same choice. All of them have gone the distance today.
And all of them were important parts of those New Hampshire teams the last couple of years that have had NCAA tournament experience. Healy with 2 assists today. He scored last year in the NCAA tournament. And it is eerily quiet, Dan, at Shaw Field right now. Is Georgetown looking at back-to-back seasons, season ending, second round at Shaw.
And a goal kick as Markovic does well against Tabora. And Jack Heaps will replace Zach Zange here. We enter the 82nd minute. Georgetown, the 4th overall seed. Heaps wins a header to Howard. Baker's gonna battle Heffes and Herbal clear.
And Dan, it's been a Georgetown team defensively that has been so difficult to unlock. Heading into this match, only giving up 15 goals on the year.
Frustrated Eric Howard can't keep that in play. Mark Hubbard hands the ball to the long thrower, Heffes. Heaps chest down. Now Stafford. You wonder, Tom, if Lampman and Jennings will start taking more chances heading forward. Buck can't keep his feet.
That's just unlucky for Joe Buck.
Georgetown team that won the Big East championship for the first time in 3 years, but will be sorely disappointed with what's transpired here. Phillips is behind Jennings. Mansky comes off his line well.
Yeah, Mansky well read there. And Dan, this is a Georgetown team, a Georgetown program that hasn't scored the NCAA tournament since the first round game against Navy in 2022.
Howard can't find Vieira. Healy, crafty ball to Santos. And Lampman will give up a yellow there.
And you're right, crafty from Healy. It was a crafty and delicate touch in the first half that allowed Lovelace to make a great individual run. Like, watching those two touches in the box, that's just class from Lovelace on the first goal, and then a perfectly weighted ball from Healy on the second. And Donovan Phillip just hit an absolute rocket into the top of the net, and just two well-taken goals from NC State today.
Tate Lampman, freshman of the year in the Big East Conference, essentially playing every minute of his freshman season. Really highly regarded coming out of the Houston Dynamo system. Ball ends up between the ankles of Erb. It'll also allow 30 more precious seconds or so to tick off the Shawfield score clock. Tabor, good layoff for Vieira. Now Stafford. The quality of the Georgetown service has not been there today, Tom.
They've had, in the first half, I actually think they had 3 or 4 really good balls served in the box. 2 of them hit the woodwork.
Baker to Vieira. Howard will track it down, keep it in play. Is this the moment for the Hoyas? Buck can't get it past half. It falls to Tabora. Left-footed shot is blocked and then cleared. And then great feed from Santos. And Plamana's been so composed in that defensive midfield role. Healy on. Healy has options. Clip a right-footed ball to Karamoko. Stafford will get to it first. Karamoko's out of gas.
And Plamana is just so important for NC State in their shape and in how he plays, and he covers ground.
Markovic getting the better of fellow freshman Baker. Markovic has hardly put a wrong foot today. '87th minute. Buck and the Hoyas move forward. The diagonal ball not on the right angle, and Erb will grab. And the Georgetown staff still trying to encourage their players, but they must be feeling the fateful feeling that accompanies a season on the brink.
Yeah, it's a game of inches. 0-0 in the first half. Baker wins a header, hits the post. Jennings rises in the first half, denied by the crossbar. And a great goal from NC State, and it's the slide tackle from Markovich when it's 1-0, and an empty net for Baker.
Here's Eric Howard. He'll clip a ball into the back post. Vieira undercut, but no way that's being called. And then Bennett smartly lets it go out of play. And Tom, what an impressive performance from Mark Hubbard and this NC State Wolfpack team.
Yeah, and he sensed it. He was confident coming into this match. Complete respect for what Brian Weiss has built here. Georgetown, year in and year out. The Georgetown Hoyas is one of the best teams in the country. But Mark Hubbard has had a lot of success in the NCAA tournament at New Hampshire, and he's really put together a nice mix of transfers and international players, and in 1 year, Mark Hubbard has got the Wolfpack back on the front page of college soccer.
And it's a Wolfpack team that will like their chances, no matter if it's Furman or Marshall. Less than 120 seconds remain in the careers of 8 Georgetown seniors, unless there's a Shawfield miracle.
Yeah, and it always stings when you realize your career's coming to an end, but think about the unfortunate late season injury to one of those seniors in Blaine Mabee, and just unable to play today. It's frustrating for all of them, but maybe unable to go at all.
Drew Lovelace in the first half, Donovan Phillip in the second. 2 class goals for the Wolfpack. And that man, Logan Erb.
Good command of his box, helped by the woodwork on a couple of occasions.
Phillip all the way back to clear. You can sense the exuberance on that NC State bench. And Erb will grab it, and Tom Greaser. The NC State Wolfpack are going to come into Washington, D.C. and shut out the number 4 overall seed. The Georgetown team that had trouble finding goals for much of the year, as Phillip will head to the corner flag.
Yeah, and what an impressive performance from NC State and Coach Hubbard. A deserved victory with 2 brilliant goals. And for Coach Weiss and the Georgetown Hoyas, a difficult defeat for the second straight year in the second round at Shaw Field.
All credit to the North Carolina State Wolfpack and head coach Mark Hubbard. That man, in his first year, takes over in Raleigh, North Carolina, and sends the Wolfpack to the Sweet 16. And Tom Greaser, it may be beyond.
Yeah, this team is fun to watch in the attack. They've got a lot of good pieces. They got speed and strength and size, and they got incredible talent with Healy pulling the strings. And they also have a belief right now, Dan. They believe they can beat any team in the country.
For the great Tom Greaser, I'm Dan Helfrich. It's been a pleasure bringing you Georgetown soccer all year long. The Hoyas end their season in difficult fashion at the hands of the NC State Wolfpack, 2-0. Lovelace with goal number 1, Phillip with goal number 2, Logan Erb with the shutout. Thanks for joining us. Be safe.